Been talking a lot about donors, a lot about delegates. Many we're hearing from are relieved and thrilled by President Biden's decision tonight.
Similar tone from high-ranking Democrats, as you've heard already. Politicians including former President Obama, who called Joe Biden a patriot of the highest order. But it's the people who cast the ballots that matter, the voters. How do they feel?
That is a big question. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Johnson spoke to some of those voters in Times Square. Anthony.
Yeah, a lot of people out here in Times Square shocked and surprised when they started to get the news that the president has decided not to run for re-election in 2024. Of course, the election just over 4 months away, but the folks that we talk to out here say they're not really concerned as far as the election is concerned, and they think that the president has done the right thing. The flow of foot traffic finds Times Square bumper to bumper with visitors. Early on, many still unaware of the news about the president's decision not to seek re-election. For those in the know, there is shock and some expecting this would happen.
It is sad for President Biden, but under the current circumstances, I think in the long run he did the right thing.
I think it was a brave decision. I think he thought carefully about what's best for our democracy and came to a decision that we should all support.
The mayor of New York City issued a statement shortly after Mr. Biden's letter announcing that he would not seek re-election. Mayor Eric Adams saying America owes a debt of gratitude to President Joe Biden for his decades of service. He and his team took us out of COVID, stabilized the country, and restored the soul of the nation. Some voters feel Mr. Biden was forced to drop out of the race by members of his own party. But others believe it would have been better if Biden stepped away earlier instead of waiting with the election 4 months away.
I wish it would have been a decision that would happen before the primary, since everybody's already, put their feelings in place. But if this is the direction he needs to go, I feel very strongly it needs to be an open convention. And whoever's going to be the suggested next candidate needs to go through his 100-day plan and agenda, and we have to believe that they're going to execute that plan.
Yeah, and a lot of people are waiting for that. They want to see what's going to be happening over the next 4 months. The Democratic voters that we talk to say they don't believe that the Democrats are certainly going to lose this race just because Joe Biden has decided to step down. They're a little bit anxious. They're a little bit concerned about the future and who is going to be running. But they said it could add some more excitement to the race. A lot of people that did talk to us today did say that they felt that President Biden had gotten too old for the job and they were concerned about his own personal future. That is the latest live from Times Square. Anthony Johnson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.